In the physical world, we have outdoor spaces and we have indoor spaces. Buildings. Besides protection from the weather, buildings provide something that's largely absent from outdoor spaces. That something is accountability. We tend to know who's in a room with us. Buildings tend to have rules about who's permitted in what parts of them. The Internet used to be called the Information Highway, and it's still an outdoor public transport system. We're keeping our files, holding our meetings, and letting our kids hang out by the side of a busy outdoor roadway. A browser is an outdoor billboard. We're doing our banking on a billboard. Whose idea was that? For years, people have been saying that the Internet needs fixing. But is it really the highway that's failing us with phishing attacks and malware and ransomware and breaches? Actually, the Internet highway does its job well. But let's think about highways for a moment. Don't we typically use outdoor highways to bring us to these indoor spaces called buildings? So then, where are the buildings? Now I have some very important information for you. There's a well-proven set of construction materials that can provide very secure digital buildings. The set of construction materials was created by some brilliant digital materials scientists. It's called PKI. Just as in the 19th century, it took 50 years before the inventors of reinforced concrete and structural steel saw their creations properly put to use. It's been almost that long since those amazing PKI construction materials were invented. PKI will provide rock-solid online buildings that provide not only security, but real privacy. But even though our computers, phones, and software have hooks built in to accommodate PKI, this is not plug and play. We'll need to do things differently. You may be wondering, if PKI is so good, why isn't it used everywhere? In fact, you do use bits and pieces of PKI every time you go to a website that starts with HTTPS. Blockchain uses bits and pieces of PKI. But just as a pile of construction materials is not a building, much less a habitable building, bits and pieces of PKI are not a digital building, much less a habitable digital building. Real estate people have a term for what a habitable building provides. That term is quiet enjoyment. The construction materials and the hooks to use it are ready. Just as the real estate industry doesn't require its participants to be materials scientists, you don't need to be a cryptographer to put PKI to use. Bringing the quiet enjoyment of accountable indoor spaces into reality is going to require the efforts of a whole new class of entrepreneurs with real business and professional skills, and without the baggage of old assumptions about security and privacy. Watch our other videos and learn how you can get in on the ground floor of the quiet enjoyment revolution. We mentioned that in these accountability spaces called buildings, you tend to know who's in the room with you. Let's look at what that means when it comes to digital buildings.